Hi everyone, welcome to You Belong at ND. My name is Leeann Francisco. I am an admissions counselor here at the University of Notre Dame. I work with students from parts of Texas as well as the American Pacific and Southeast Asia. And today we'll be talking about finding community here at Notre Dame. With me, I have some wonderful Notre Dame students, and I'll go ahead and have them introduce themselves.
Hi everybody, my name is Jacob Lopez. I'm currently a sophomore here at the University of Notre Dame, studying business analytics with a minor in Latino studies, living in Alumni Hall, and I'm originally from Southern California, Orange County.
Hi everyone, my name is Gabriela Sanchez. I am a sophomore currently living in Farley Hall, majoring in economics. And I'm happy to be here.
Hello everyone, my name is JD Regis. I'm originally from Paris, France, but I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a sophomore studying film, television, and theater with a minor in French, and I live in the Duncan Hall.
Awesome. Thank you guys for being here. I'm super stoked. Now, before we jump into questions, I have some questions as well as we'll take some questions from the audience. We do have just a short presentation talking about some student resources and some important things to know just about the University of Notre Dame. So to start, really going over our first slide, let's talk a little bit about the mission. So at Notre Dame, our mission is really focused on educating the mind, body, and spirit. So that comes from our roots in being founded by Congregation of Holy Cross. We were founded in 1842 by Father Edward Soren, and he had this mission that this place would be a powerful means for doing good in this country. That is still something that we do today, and we do really focus on that holistic education experience. Again, not just thinking about formation of the mind, but also formation in terms of spiritual, personal, and professional formation. Now, thinking a little bit about where we are located, the University of Notre Dame, if you've never heard of us or have never been to campus before, we are located in South Bend, Indiana. We're located in the Midwest in the US, not too far from Chicago, Illinois, about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from Chicago. It is the biggest city near us, and we're located and nestled in this area called South Bend. It's one of my favorite places to be, actually. We're located in this small college town. We're not the only college in the area, so there's lots of young folks in the area. Some of my favorite places are Four Wind Stadium, where we have the South Bend Cubs, which is a minor league baseball team here in the area. We have the Morris Performing Arts Center, as well as a really robust food scene with just lots of fresh farm-to-table agriculture coming through the area. Now, thinking about where you will find your community on campus, we have lots of places where you'll find community, but it does really start in the residence halls. It's one of our most unique programs on campus. We have over 30 residence halls at Notre Dame. Each one of them is going to be single-sex mixed year. And what's really unique is that each one has their own mascot, colors, traditions, signature events, and service organizations they work with. They function similarly to fraternity or sorority housing, but without the Greek life affiliation. I'm sure each of our students will tell you why their hall is the best hall on campus, but we'll save that for later. Now, thinking about who we are as a university, we are a Catholic institution, and we're not going to shy away from that. And I think that one of the most beautiful parts of our Catholic tradition is that we really do focus on service at Notre Dame, really going back to our mission to be a force for good in the world. We do focus a lot on service learning. So 80% of our students will participate in service learning here at Notre Dame. And there are lots of opportunities to get involved in faith life if you choose to do so. I think one of the most beautiful parts of Notre Dame is that we have students coming from all 50 states and over 70 different countries, and they're coming with all sorts of different beliefs and traditions of their own, and that goes the same with faith traditions. The way that I like to phrase it is I'm from California, I'm from Southern California as well, and if everyone on campus was from California, that'd be kind of boring, right? So we want this to be an enriching experience for all of our students. We invite students from all faith traditions or no faith tradition at all to be part of our campus. Now, we are dedicated to diversity and inclusion here at Notre Dame, and some things to think about is that we have lots of support systems. We do respect dignity of every person, which really goes back to our Catholic social teaching, really thinking about being kind, compassionate human beings. Again, thinking about that holistic education. Our students aren't just studying, eating, and sleeping. They really are working in community together, and that really goes back to our mission and our promise to really promote diversity and inclusion on our campus. The way that we do that, we have a bunch of resources on the next slide. Some of my favorites are listed here. I know we have let me see here, which one is it? Oh, the Multicultural Student Programs and Services is one of my favorites. We actually have a newly renovated Center for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion on campus. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's actually gonna be one of my favorite spots this fall as I'm working in the office here and need a break, want to head over to the center. And the Multicultural Student Programs and Services are located there, the Office of Student Enrichment, Gender Relations Center, as well as a giant community kitchen that students are able to dine together, break bread together. It's a really lovely space. But located here, we do have lots of other resources that we will also talk about in just a little bit. Now, thinking about the first year class, this is a breakdown of who our first year class was this year. We enrolled just over 2,000 students with almost 50-50 with male and female. And what I really want to focus on here is where our students are coming from. So we have students coming from, like I said, all 50 states and over 70 different countries. I believe actually it's more than 80 now different countries. And going back to the piece that I said about residence life, something I do want to mention is that each student their first year will be randomly assigned a roommate. They're not going to be from the same zip code or high school as you. And that's a really beautiful moment where students get to create community really organically. And it's really important because we have students coming from, again, every single state across the US and even more different countries as well. So we really want to focus on how you find that community. We want to get that right from the get-go. So that was a really speedy just overview of who we are as a university. I do see lots of questions coming in, so thank you so much for your questions. Now to kick it off, I do have one question that I will ask all of you, and we'll just kind of go down the line. So for each of you, let me see here before I lost my place. What was a time when you needed some support from the Notre Dame community, and how did you find that support?
Yeah, again, Jacob here. So one of the things that I needed the most were a career discernment help, which I came in as pre-med neuroscience, realized medical school was not for me, sciences was not for me. So I was kind of freaking out, like saying, okay, well, I never explored anything besides science. What do I do now? This is kind of scary. But the Career Center here is really amazing. Shout out Karen if you're watching. She helped me a lot. She helped me figure out, well, like breaking it down into steps, first finding my major, then finding internships, then finding what potential career paths I want to explore. So I would say one of the best things that I've experienced at Notre Dame is the Career Center, and also my peers and mentors that I found here at the university, and professors that really helped a lot.
Yeah, so coming in as a first year student in international, one of my main concerns was just sort of thinking, where am I going to be at academically in comparison to US students? Just because educational models can be like very different. And I remember I was very intimidated when I first like walked into classrooms, just like I was kind of thinking, where am I going to be leveled? Am I going to be like at a similar like discussion? Like I never like experienced like a classroom like the ones I have here, which are like, well, I had like a very small seminar, which was like 9 people, and then I had like 150 people classroom, which is like the more generic courses. And I remember just feeling it was like very overwhelming. And as a first year student, you have to take this class called Moreau, first year experience, where it's basically your Notre Dame 101 class where you get to learn about the university, its mission, Father Hesper, which is one of Notre Dame's like most iconic figures. And what I liked about it was, well, I got it at an 8 a.m. Wednesday. A lot of people are not really that willing to talk 8 a.m. Wednesdays, but my instructor made it so welcoming. She would kick up the class with like some awkward joke that would kind of make everyone laugh. And I remember, well, it's a class that is not really that demanding, but they do still offer office hours. And one time I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and talk to my Moreau instructor. And I went to Moreau office hours and I just talked with her in La Fon, which is this building where, well, there's like the newly like remodeled like multicultural services program and a few other like restaurants on campus. And I just sat with her. We had coffee for like an hour. I was just telling her, yeah, so this is how I feel on campus. And it was so warm. It felt so welcoming the way she told me, like, hey, like, everyone kind of feels the same way you do. And I remember, like, it just felt like so reassuring. And it was nice to know that I can rely not only on like my classmates and my roommate and my friends, but also in faculty, which I feel like a lot of people kind of feel a bit more intimidated about, like reaching out to faculty, but even the faculty, they're very warm.
Everyone, JD here again. A time where I really truly needed the Notre Dame community was during a time of sense of belonging for myself. So coming from Atlanta, Georgia, I lived with my mom all my life. I grew and become a mama's boy. I truly adore my mom. I love her. I miss her so much. And I was always attached to her. But coming to college, it was kind of weird because I remember in kindergarten how I used to hold on to her leg, wishing not to go to school or not to leave me. And now I'm going to school and she's holding on to my leg. So we just had that bond relationship. But just to be up here without my mom, without my family, that was very tough for me because I'm very family oriented. I love to have my family around me, just, joke around, talk sports, eat, and do things. And coming up to Notre Dame, which it seems very far from Atlanta, not from California. Oh my God. But from Atlanta, it seemed very far, and I didn't have my friends up here, nor did I have my family. So that was very tough. But immediately, two occasions. The first week, I immediately found my friend group. I found a array of friends just on Notre Dame. So that first probably weekend, you will know about Welcome Weekend. All the freshmen will come up, and it will strictly just be freshmen and the upperclassmen that you can consider your brothers and sisters. And that was just a true eye-opening experience for me because in my dorm, we had an open door policy. So, our doors would stay unlocked and guys would just randomly come in, check in, play the game with you, talk, try to do different things just to get to know you. And that was just like very interesting. And that made me just like find my brothers and form a brotherhood at the end of the day because I feel like everyone needs a village behind them. And it was just so key just having them. And that just didn't end there. We'd go outside, play basketball, throw the football. We'd go in the city, go to the museum, go to concerts, go to baseball games, go eat. We eat on the dining hall, we'll text, it's just so many factors that just played into part that made just a strong brotherhood. And it was probably around the middle of the semester, first semester, when it got pretty cold. Coming from Atlanta, it's very hot out there. I did not like the cold very much, so that was tough. So the cold is already can be in a sense sad, but then having, in those midterm areas and, towards the end of the semester, it can be very stressful and you kind of lose yourself. And it was just good to have that reassurance of my brotherhood just around me, just to be there for me every step of the way. So.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing your stories. I know there's a lot of questions in the chat about various organizations or clubs that promote things like diversity and inclusion, or even thinking of various clubs that are focused on cultural background or things like that. So are y'all invested in any of those clubs or organizations, or what sort of organizations exist on campus for you all?
Yeah, I can take the first question. So I'm part of the board of the Latino Student Alliance. So some background on me and my family is that the majority of my family still resides in Veracruz, Mexico. So I am Afro-Latino, and a lot of my family, it's been hard to kind of learn how to be with Latinos and Black people because it's kind of a mix. So it's kind of a different experience. So me and a couple of other Afro-Latinos are trying to make, it's an unofficial club right now, but we're trying to make it official. But yeah, I've been a part of like the Latino Student Alliance, where they host events like formals or just get-togethers with other Latino students, as well as things like Ballet Folklorico, which is like, think of it like Mexican tap dance, which is really fun, and some other like Latin dancing clubs. That's how I've been involved and got to know more people, my culture, and my community. Yeah.
Awesome. On campus, I am part of the Buffer Hesper Scholars Program. So the way it works, we do a summer immersion program right before the beginning of freshman year. So it's a relatively small cohort. It's about 30 people, a little bit less than 30 people. And we got to have like campus over summer, like all to ourselves. It's like the best time of year because the days are so long. I got to take classes with people of like similar backgrounds. It's a organization for people of underrepresented backgrounds on campus. So you see a lot of first generation students, you see Asian students, you see Latina students, you see Black students, and we all just kind of like come together. We discuss where we come from, what we expect to get from Notre Dame, and just sort of like begin to navigate campus before the rest of the 2,000 people incoming class gets here in the fall. And it's such a lovely community. We do like every Friday we do like a movie night, and this is not even part of the program anymore. It's just because we came like that close to each other. It's like we want to see each other weekly. So we do like movie nights. There's also a formal, which I call it ball formal. There's like Halloween activities. There's a retreat that we do. A lot of cultural organizations do like retreats at the beginning and in the middle of the school year. So it's nice to just know that there are people in like from your community that you can relate to. And yeah, it's just like it's a really warm community, and I like love them so much. They're like I still talk to them like the people in my cohort like every day.
I myself, I'm on and enjoying a lot of array of clubs and activities here. So first off, Notre Dame allows for any club or organization. You can pretty much make up anything, and there will be people to support you, and you can kind of do anything you want. So, never stop believing. If you want to make a club or anything, you really can. But I myself, I'm the secretary of Robruta, and Robruta is a young African-American male club. It's about 40 to 50 of us, and we just gather every week, really multiple times, just to talk about things, and we do multiple events. We too have formal dances. We have cookouts. We go bowling. We go to basketball games, football games, baseball games. We go shopping together, and we meet and we just talk about issues going on in our world that are affecting young African American males. We kind of talk about issues. We do some things as well, and it's not always strictly, we're always doing something. Sometimes we're really relaxing. So on Fridays we'll meet. We'll go in the room, probably play some 2K. People be doing homework. Some people listen to music. And it's just a relaxing vibe zone, just to provide that sense of community and belonging as well.
Awesome. So Gabriella asked a question in the chat. What are some of your favorite experiences in the dorms? We'll start with you, JD.
Some of my favorite experiences in the dorm, I would start off really football weekend. Football weekend, that's probably the best part. Football is a big part at Notre Dame, and I say probably that Thursday, everyone is just getting very hyped. And so in the beginning, football season, August, September, a lot of families will come out, they'll have tailgates. And with the dorms, you meet so many people, and so many people is just like opportunities everywhere, and they just have so many different backgrounds. So, you all go to tailgates together, before the game, you all dress up, you go play some football, you all hang out. Another form of just how strong dorm is just each and every dorm. I know in South Dining Hall, you have your own table. And basically, you just kind of, at the end of the day, like every Friday, my dorm, we wear green blazers. So if I go in the South Dining Hall and, I'm looking for somewhere to sit, I can always look in the right and see a beret of just green blazers there. And that just kind of like makes you feel it's kind of warm that you at least know someone in your dorm that's there. But then also, it goes beyond that. When you're picking classes, a lot of the upperclassmen, they love to reach out and help you in any way. They'll tell you classes, professors to take, not to take, or easy guides and courses to help guide you in the best way.
In my dorm, well, most dorms do like a Big Little program. And if you don't want to be part of it, there's like, you can totally choose like the level of commitment that you want to have like with an upperclassman. But it's really nice to know that you can just like, especially during class registration, it can be a little stressful. It really doesn't have to be. It can just be stressful because you have like a 10-minute time slot and you really want to get the classes that you're planning to have. But it's nice to just like ask questions like, hey, does anyone have like a recommendation, like a good professor for, I don't know, let's say intermediate macroeconomics, or who's taking their first theology, because we have to take 2 semesters of theology here at Notre Dame. What's like a cool like theology class that you guys took? Any like recommendations, stuff like that? It's really nice to just like talk with the upperclassmen in the community. Also, my first year, I really missed her so much. I got along pretty well with my RA, which is their resident assistant. Every Tuesday we have like section socials. So depending on the section you are in your dorm, they will also, it's like around 10 p.m. at night. It's just to catch up with like what you've done in the week. You usually have like something to eat, a quick little snack. My resident, what she would do is she would have like oat milk Mondays. So we just try like a new flavor of like oat milk like every Monday at 10 p.m. But I'm also part of Cafe Farfar. which goes to, it's like an inside joke. It's like cafe like far, far away because it like, kind of sounds like Farley. But what we do is a cafe that works in odd hours of the night. It's open, it's only from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. And it's for those who want to like late night snack as you're working homework, or maybe you just want to hang out with your friends. You go to the Farley basement. For the very good price of $3, you can get whatever milkshake combination you want or just a smoothie. And I started working there last semester, and I really like it because I get to talk with like all the girls in Farley that I maybe just don't get to see as much because I'm not in my dorm. Maybe I'm in class. Maybe I'm like working in some club, and I just catch up with them. I like sometimes I had a girl like bring in an entire brownie and tell me, can you put this in the blender and like make up like a brownie like milkshake, and I was like, I can try. And then like 5 other girls did the same thing. It was like really nice to talk to all of them. I feel like it's unique to Farley. We have a lot of people from other dorms come in as well. So yeah, it's a very like nice Farley tradition.
Yeah, my favorite. So again, my hall is Alumni Hall, home of the dogs. Go dogs! Best dorm on campus. So one of my favorite traditions is called Quansing. When I believe it's every Friday before a football game. You go outside South Quad and you dress up really silly. There's people in Speedos, or there's people in like chicken costumes. Just the most craziest, bizarre like costumes you could think of. They go outside South Quad and they just dance. I've met so many of the guys doing that too. And it's honestly just watching it. People line up to watch it around South Quad. It's just a fun tradition. It's like really funny, I think.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing. Hannah had a question in the chat about, what welcome events does Notre Dame have within the first few weeks of school for the incoming class? So Gabby, I know you talked about the immersion program that you're a part of, but can you also talk a little bit about like welcome week or maybe that process for you coming into Notre Dame?
Yes, so Notre Dame, as soon as you get into campus, they really make sure that your schedule is packed in the best way possible. From the moment you get here, internationals get to move in 2 days earlier than the rest of the incoming class, so you kind of have like a little bit more time for yourself and your family. You get to walk around campus before like everyone else comes in, which is very nice. But then during welcome weekend, you do your first visit to the grotto, which is a very sort of intimate moment amongst like the first year students. Because like when you graduate, you'll also do like a last visit to the grotto. There's a few instances in which you're gonna be with your entire like class, and that's one of them. There's also the class picture, which is very cool. All the students walk into Notre Dame Stadium. We are told to stand between some people wearing white shirts, and you don't know what shape you're making, but you know it's gonna be the class photo that later on they reveal. There's also, there's welcome weekend. What's like the fest we do?
Domerfest.
Domerfest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Domerfest is an activity, so they give you a shirt that you wear, like representing your hall. So you know that all the people that you're with, they're all freshmen. And then there's Domerfest, which is like around, I think it starts at like 11 p.m. and it ends at like 2 a.m. Sometimes it's held outdoors, sometimes it's inside of Duncan Student Center in the Duncan Ballroom, which is a very cool ballroom in the 7th floor. And pretty much all you do is dance, get to talk to people, maybe if like someone from your area that you like know is also coming to Notre Dame, you get to see them in person. It's a really, really good time. And yeah, usually like at the beginning of welcome weekend, you get like your Monday off and you start classes on Tuesday. And yeah, I'm trying to think what other activities we do in welcome weekend.
I know they had a jumper in Domerfest, so that was cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
They always have
It was
fun
like
things
inside
happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of free like food trucks as well.
Oh yeah.
Free food. Always
Yeah,
fun.
there's
free
always
food,
food. So yeah, it's a really good time.
Awesome. Anything else y'all want to add about welcome weekend? Gabby has
She
all
covered it
bases.
all, yeah.
Okay, great. So Elizabeth had another great question in the chat. So she would like to know why you all chose Notre Dame. So we'll start here with Jacob.
Yeah, so my story's a little funny, but I'll give some background. So I grew up in Santa Ana, California, which is in Orange County. It's kind of underprivileged community. So a lot of the students there are first generation and children of immigrants. So really college is not something it's something that's told to us, but we don't really know what it is or how to get there. So my high school years was trying to like figure out what college is, how do I get there, because I want to be better so I can better myself and provide for my family. So I had no experience with any college, so I knew nothing about college. Got into this great scholarship program. It's called NAC. If anybody from San is there, definitely apply to NAC. They just teach you. They help first generation and low income students understand how to apply to college, which colleges to apply to, and they help you with applying to colleges like financially and everything. So yeah, that being said, I didn't know anything about college, so they told me I had to apply to a certain amount of private schools, and I was kind of checking my list, saying like, okay, which school should I apply to now? And Notre Dame was on that list, and it was green, and my favorite color was green. So I applied to the school, got in, and then I saw that it was a good school after researching. So I was like, oh, maybe I'm gonna do this school. I was in between schools, and I was like, ultimately Notre Dame, because they showed that they really cared for me and that they were gonna take care of me here, which has shown true while I've been here. So yeah, overall it's just been a great experience, a learning experience as well. So it's been amazing being here.
Yeah, so my sister just graduated this year from Notre Dame. She was also an economics major. So that's how I heard about the school. And when she was here, she would tell me all about it, like, oh, it's such a good time. Like, I've met, like, my friends here. Like, they're all amazing, the faculty, everything. But she would always talk about the community more than anything. And I know that it sounds kind of basic, like, description, like, oh, it has such a good community. And it's like, well, yeah, that's what you expect from, like, the school that you're potentially going to. But I didn't really experience it till I applied to pre-college for any, like, 10th graders or 11th graders watching, maybe not 11th graders, I'm not sure. But if you get the chance to do summer scholars pre-college, or I think there's also, like, a leadership program as well. There's, like, a few other, like, programs you can apply to. It's a good way to, spend 2 weeks, get to know the school, get to know people that are also passionate about the school that you're going to. And I applied to do summer scholars in astronomy because at the moment that I wanted to study physics. And I remember I was very excited to come here, especially because it was in the middle of COVID. Then they said that unfortunately it was not going to be held on campus, but still I was like, you know what, it's something that I want to get to know. And even though it was online, it was on Zoom, like I had never felt like such a just vibrant community. And in order, like, translating that into like Zoom, I feel like it's such a like challenging thing to do, and somehow they managed to do it regardless. Like, it was during that immersion program, well, pre-college, that I met this girl called Jackie Wen, and it was only 2 weeks long, and it was like mandatory Zoom meetings with like other like kids. And when I tell you that we stayed in touch for an entire year, and she's from Oklahoma and not from Nicaragua, so it's not like we didn't even know if we were gonna meet in person or not. But we both knew we wanted to apply to Notre Dame. We stayed in touch the entire time, and now I'm taking 2 classes with her this semester, which is like crazy for me to think. Like, I met her during welcome weekend, and it was like, this can't be real. Like, I've been talking to you for like 2 years now online. I've never seen you in person. But it was like that community and all the inside jokes that we made during that 2-week period, and just coming back and like meeting all my friends that I also did pre-college with. It was like such a good time. It's truly the community that makes it just goes above and beyond. Because when you're applying to schools, of course you're going to consider like the faculty, you're going to consider the classes that they offer, but the community is just something like I cannot like be able to describe it. Like, I can't put it into words. Like, it can't fit into like any rankings. It just goes above and beyond.
For me personally, throughout high school, I really didn't give Notre Dame much thought at all. Coming from Atlanta and being in the metropolitan era, my family all went to history. My family all went to HBCUs. My mom went to Spelman. My dad was from overseas. My grandmother went to Howard, grandfather FAMU. So I was really destined to go to HBCU from the beginning. But thankfully, throughout my high school experience, they gave my senior year, I think it was my junior year when I applied during the COVID era. We had a common app, and they allow us to apply as many colleges as we wanted to. So I was applying, of course, to the popular schools, to some of the middle class schools that kind of fit my area that I was looking into. And for Notre Dame, I kind of heard about it. I was really scrolling on social media, and I was kind of, honestly, it was a true story. I was in the shower when I applied to Notre Dame, and it was kind of just like looking on social media, and I was like, oh, it looks pretty. Like, you know, why not? And I really wasn't giving it much thought. Like, in all honesty, I wasn't thinking like, I was thinking I was destined to go probably like to Howard. My dream school was UCLA. I was destined on that. And I was like, Notre Dame, like, what is Notre Dame? So I was like, I would apply just because, you know, easy application, I thought, you know, and I went and submitted it. And just come to find out, a few months later, I found out that I got in. And at first, you know, I really didn't know much about it, but I did my research on the school. And I found out it was a really good, it was okay. I found out it was a really good school. And I was like, dang. And I had told my mom about it. And just to see the face reaction when I told my mom I got into other schools versus Notre Dame, she was just completely shocked. But that was just the beginning, because immediately once I was accepted, like Notre Dame, they kept sending a bunch of stuff to my house. A bunch of like, they kept sending like emails that said posters, like cards, t-shirts. And I was like, I would come home from school like for practice, and I'm like, dang, like I have something from Notre Dame again. Like, I was like, where's the other stuff at? And then I was kind of doing more research, and I kind of felt like at the end of the day, I felt like if this is happening for a reason, I feel like God did this for a reason. That's what I kind of thought. So I was like, you know, I feel like He has a path for us, and I feel like if they keep sending me this mail, keep sending me emails, and really want me to truly be up here, I was like, you know, why not give it a shot? You know, why not be that difference maker from back home? You know, not going to HBC or going to the popular norm. Just go up here, come up on a leap of faith, and be up here. And you know, it's turned out pretty great. You know, work in progress. You know, we're still alive. So.
Awesome. Just a small plug for social media. If you've never been to campus and you can't make it to South Bend, we completely understand. That's why we have sessions like this virtually. But our social media team is awesome. We have students who are basically taking over all of our social media pages and doing takeovers and showing you what it's like through their eyes to be a Notre Dame student. So I always talk about social media when I can, because that's kind of our way of showing you what South Bend and what Notre Dame is all about. So you talked a little bit about living in a metropolitan area and then moving to South Bend. So tell us a little bit about that transition. What are some of your, favorite things about South Bend? Maybe things you like to do off campus. And we'll go down the list, by the way.
As I said before, I'm from Atlanta. I'm originally from Paris, so Paris is already a big city. And moving from Paris to Atlanta at 13, that was pretty much on the same wavelength. Atlanta was very vibey, a lot of culture. So picking colleges, side note, I kind of wanted to go to like a college that was like in LA or Miami. I'm glad that I didn't. Very smart, very smart. So I was like in Atlanta, I was like, I've never heard of South Bend, but they always say you're about an hour away from Chicago. So I was like, you know what? I was like, okay. But coming up here, I really thought, honestly, South Bend was in the middle of nowhere. It's completely just cornfields. It's dead. There's nothing up here. I never heard of it. In all honesty, that's what I thought. But then when I first came up here, I was like, yo, there's actually stuff up here. And it was like, this is like actually very interesting to me. But then once I formed that brotherhood, like I said before, they have the baseball game, the South Bend Cubs baseball game. That's really fun to go to. There's a lot of food spots off campus that you can go to as well and try different cultural backgrounds. And you can go to a museum, you can go to concerts, but that's just off campus. But I rarely get to go off campus because it's a lot of stuff going on campus. So already in the fall, you already know you have football season. That's guaranteed almost every other Saturday. And that takes up a good amount of the weekend. And then we have basketball season starting. Don't forget to mention we have soccer as well. And then next semester with basketball continuing, volleyball as well. We have all these sports. And then once you get involved in clubs and activities and you do other things, you start to realize that you don't have enough time to go off campus. And it's actually kind of good because like I know if I was in a setting and I was in, say for instance, Los Angeles, I would always be like, I would go get caught up in the city. But my mom always told me, keep your head on straight. You're not there to really to party. You're there to graduate and get your degree. So I was like, okay, that's true. So, but it's honestly a lot of things. And if worst case comes to scenario, a few of my friends and I, we've taken that trip to Chicago, an hour drive, train ride, no more than $30. You go see the Bears game, the Bulls game. Sometimes you go shop, eat, come right back. A little weekend getaway trip.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, that is very true. There is so much going on campus that even if you think to yourself, oh, you know what, I'm thinking about going outside this weekend, out of campus, then you realize there's like some event going on, and it's like, oh, you know what, I might as well just stay. And it just feels so comfortable. I remember when I first came here, I thought campus was so big. Oh my gosh, I've gotten lost so many times. And there's still times where I have to use Google Maps to like find out where I'm going. I don't really have the best sense of direction. But there's so much to do in South Bend, and right outside of campus we have Eddy Street, where a lot of students will go, especially on the weekends. Usually, like, when it comes to like dining options, you do have the dining hall. Sometimes it does happen to me that like the dining hall is like closed already. It closes at 9 p.m., which gives you like a solid like amount of time to like get something to eat. But sometimes it's like, you know what, I'm gonna go get Chipotle, and I just get
It's
Chipotle.
so nice. It's just a short walk.
It's
Yeah.
such a short walk. And if not, well, Notre Dame in South Bend with your Notre Dame ID, you get to use like the bus services for free. So if you ever want to go to the mall, you want to get like a warm coat for winter, or maybe you just want to go to Build-A-Bear, or you want to go to AMC theaters and check out the new movie, you can always just take the bus. It's like so easy to use. And when it comes to going to Chicago, it's mostly, I've done it a couple times. It's very cheap. You can take the train, you can Uber. There's a lot of options. The train is like, I think the ticket is about like $10 or something. And yeah, I've done it like, it's usually for like longer breaks. If you have like Easter break, if you have Thanksgiving break, and you're staying on campus, and you have friends that are staying on campus as well. It's just nice to go check out Chicago and all, but at the end of the day, you do feel very comfortable on campus in like the best way possible. There's so much going on the entire time. It's back home. It's not like I came from like a big city, but it's just nice to know that, if you have like, I don't know, like a free afternoon, you can always go check out. Sometimes they do like little shows in like Duncan or like in Library Lawn. You can sign up and like sing with your friends, play the guitar. There's also like comedy like shows going on campus with the improvising club. There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, it's literally what they said, because they covered everything. But yeah, like this past fall break, I went to Chicago with my boys, and it was a fun time. There's so much to do, too much to do. We didn't have enough time. I wanted to stay longer, but they said no. So I came back. But there's so many things to do on campus, like they said. One of my favorite memories was, fondest like memories here at Notre Dame during the weekend was being with my friends. There's like secret gems in the South Bend community. So we went to like a Mexican store and just picked up some groceries, and then decided to cook on campus. Just wanted to try cooking.
Yeah.
It was one of my fondest memories. Honestly, there's so many things to do. I can't even choose one.
Absolutely. I know when I moved here from California to be at Notre Dame to work here, I was, scared I wasn't gonna have access to like the Filipino groceries that I had back home. And lo and behold, there's a little Filipino market here in South Bend. So there's one of everything, which I really appreciate. And I do like what you all said about just South Bend being just nestled in this little community, and it's the perfect size for, I think, Notre Dame. And I think that students don't feel overwhelmed by a huge city, but they're close enough to Chicago that if you want to get a taste of it, you totally can. But then you leave Chicago where it is, and then you come back to your bubble here in South Bend, and it's absolutely perfect. One question that I did see come up a lot was about finding balance as a student, especially students coming from maybe first-gen backgrounds, low-income backgrounds. Maybe they're just scared about that transition from high school to college. So if one of you wants to take that question, or if you all want to answer that question, like finding balance at Notre Dame, how was that transition for you?
Yeah, so I am a first-generation student, and going from high school to college is something I've found personally challenging. And I think a lot of people find it challenging, even if they're not first generation, only because the academics are more rigorous, which is good because I'm actually learning. And as you get like older, you kind of like figure out your routine and how you want to study. You learn way better study habits, first of all. Yeah, so the professors, the free tutoring, they're just always available. So it's of course challenging, but I think it's a good type of challenge where you grow as a person, as a student, and in the future as a person in your career. Yeah, it's just overall been a good experience, I think.
Yeah, I cannot emphasize enough the amount of resources there are on campus just for you to learn. If you're struggling in class, or maybe you just want to like learn a little bit more about some niche topic. There's so much. For example, I struggle sometimes with math, and there is a math help room which is open like pretty much like almost every day from like 3 p.m. to like 9 p.m. where you could just like go to the math department, the building on campus, and you could just like there's like graduate students, there's TAs where you can always like ask questions. I would say like coming from high school, one of my favorite classes that I've had so far, and one of my favorite professors, it was my seminar that I took. We read, it was 15 books per semester, and in my school, our assigned readings were like maybe like half a plate. It was never like 15 like books per semester, and it was the hardest class I've taken. And when I tell you it was my favorite class as well, it was challenging in a way that I was, like Jacob says, I was actually learning so much. And another thing that you kind of find out here in college is that you have to learn how to learn. You have to learn what studying methods work best for you. It's very tempting when students tell you, your friend group especially, hey, let's go to a Hesper library. We're gonna do like a study session for philosophy, and then you end up going on a rant the entire 3 hours that you're there at the table. Sometimes it can be productive. For some others, it just works best when you're alone. There's a lot of rooms around campus that you can reserve if you need to have like that study like space for you. There's also study rooms inside of your hall, so if you don't want to go out, you can always just like take up like a study space in your hall. Almost every building on campus has like at least like one study spot. It was a little challenging trying to balance. Oh, another thing, I don't know, I feel like my schedule in high school, I don't know how I had the energy to wake up at 6 a.m. and to do extracurriculars and then do homework, go to bed at 11 p.m. When you come into college, you're going to feel like you have a lot of time in your hands. And it is because, I mean, the way your classes work, yes, you're taking less classes, but the way that you have to work through them, you kind of have to learn how to work for every class. I feel like when you go to high school, the methods are like very generic that you can kind of apply to studying in every class. But when you come here, you kind of learn like, okay, maybe math is going to take up more time than my fine arts requirement or something like that. So you just kind of like learn how to learn, like I said earlier. And if you need that extra help, there's always like a lot of people that can like help you, especially the TAs. They're all so welcoming.
Anything you want to add?
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, that's all the good stuff. So I do just have one final question for each of you as we wrap up this session tonight. My last question for each of you is, for all the students, the families, the parents, the guardians who are watching tonight, what advice do you have for each of them, as they look to college, maybe thinking about applying to Notre Dame, knowing what you know now, what advice do you have?
The best advice I got during my application process was literally believe in yourself and apply to every college that you want to apply to. Because some people, they think, well, no, I can't get into this college because of this and that. And who cares? Just apply. That's literally what I did, and I got into this really prestigious and amazing school. I think taking risks and believing in yourself is one of the most important things you can do, because without risk, you can't grow. And then also being your best advocate, because nobody's gonna advocate for you like you're gonna advocate for yourself. So it's about like knowing what you want and going for it.
Yeah, my advice, I would say, I remember when I was in high school and I would hear it a lot, I was like, oh, that doesn't help at all. But it's so true when people tell you to be yourself and be genuine. The college application process, you kind of realize that you learn about yourself more than you think you would. It requires a lot of introspection. So I would say just sort of find something that you're passionate about, and don't be scared to kind of like try something that you've never done before, because you don't know if that's going to be the thing that you're actually like, that you would love and that you want to pursue in the future. So, if you're passionate about debate, then like show that passion, showcase that passion, okay, I'm gonna, or maybe there is no debate club in your school, then like go ahead and like be that person that like opens it up, and like you have like this amount of opportunities now for other students that could possibly be interested in debate. And I know the debate is kind of generic. I don't know. I've heard of so many niche clubs. If your passion is assembling Rubik like cubes, then go ahead and do that. And like besides showing that passion, show what you can, like get involved with your community, get involved with your high school, get involved with your neighbors. it just helps you to like grow as a person and you learn more about yourself. So yeah, like Jacob said, just pretty much like take risk. I would say believe in yourself, also remain calm. Everything's gonna work out at the end of the day. So yeah, just like have faith, I would say.
My advice, simple. Really, just do it. I feel like at the end of the day, like just do it, because it's like no risk equals no reward. And I feel like it's college, and I really feel like this is your future that we're kind of speaking about. So you kind of first off do the research. Don't immediately, like a lot of college campuses are pretty, but there's really more to that, and it's more like behind those doors. It's really your future that you're really talking about. This isn't really high school anymore. This is kind of growing up. You're getting into the real workforce, entering the real world. So it's like really just believe in yourself. Like it doesn't matter where you come from, who you are. Like I'm from Atlanta. I moved from Paris. I applied in the shower. Never would have thought that I would be sitting here, and I'm sitting here today, grateful, thankful for all the opportunities. And it's really just apply for really what's best for you. Do what's you at the end of the day, because it's going to be you here. And kind of like I said, do the research, kind of talk around and ask people, because if you don't talk, then you don't know who could really help you. There's so many people on this world who don't know who knows who knows what. They can get you there. Just kind of follow your passions. If you believe in something, just stand on it. Just stand on business. And just kind of apply every college that you want to. Don't let anything hold you back. Just you at the end of the day. It's your future.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for your time. Thank you all for joining us this evening from wherever you're phoning in from. You can find the recording of this on our website. We have tons of other resources on our website as well. If you can't find what you're looking for, you can always give our office a call or send us an email. We're happy to help you out. But we hope you have a great rest of your evening and have a good one. Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much.